Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Can You Beat Fate's Grand Order Without Gacha challenge. This time, we're heading to America, the land of the free. Inhabitants, Celts, every abomination known to man, wyverns and dragons too. Can't forget those of course. And our two favorite Indian heroes as well. Yeah, this Singularity is very weird, but it's also pretty damn interesting. Not to mention, we'll be choosing our free 5-star from the shop later in this video, so stick around to find out what happens. Also, if this is your first introduction to the series, I highly recommend you go back and watch the first 3 episodes to get a better idea about the challenge, or you can check the rules down below in the description. Just before we continue, I'd like to make a quick disclaimer. I am feeling a bit ill these days, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds a bit odd, or maybe I apologize if the video takes a bit longer to edit. It's it's a bit of a health problem, so you'd have to excuse me if this takes a bit longer to get online. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just begin. This time I start by doing some interlude quests to get them out of the way and enhance Kector and Ushiwaka's MP ever so slightly. Then we dive right in, and immediately we are dropped right into the action. It seems like Ku got a tan and a lot of scales since we last saw him in Fuyuki. We also see Medb? Medibi?
Pretty straightforward once you know Maeve. I know it's not a DB sound, not Medb, but rather a V sound, Maeve.
We also see Maeve for the first time. Oh, and this guy. Then the game takes a serious turn, giving Ritsuka flashbacks about Mash's past, enough so that he actually wakes up with tears in his eyes. He goes to Romani to talk about it, but doesn't get the chance since they are hurried to the Shift room for the Singularity to begin. Similar to Rome, we pop up in a random forest, then get attracted to the sounds of battle. Of course, we get swept up and have to deal with the mechanized infantry. These guys suck, literally never a threat. Next, some Celtic soldiers attack us and we smack them up pretty good. Is it called Celtic or Celtic? I'm not sure, but is it Celtic? Let me check. Then some Celtic soldiers attack us, we smack them up until they retreat. Then Ritsuka eats an entire cannonball and is sent flying, passing out. In the next node, we get our first friend support and oh mama, is that a level 64 servant? You shouldn't have. Needless to say, we head straight back to the enhancement screen. Ritsuka wakes up to Nightingale trying to amputate him. Luckily, Mush comes in and talks her out of it. Naturally, we are attacked right after that. Man, it looks weird having 3 skills now. I guess we are finally getting somewhere in terms of battle power. We repel the attackers before we realize that those who led the attack are none other than Lancer from Fate Zero and his boyfriend. Again, they're Lancers, so naturally just assume that whenever they show up on the screen they're about to get a royal beating. Fion proposes to Mush before promptly running away. Again, my girl simply can't catch a break. We meet Helena, Robin Hood, and Billy the Kid. Hey look, we already have a better cast than London. And we're barely 2 nodes in. We meet Karna as well after a filler battle, and then we are taken to the HQ of the American Fighting Force, where the great King Emperor, the inventor, the marvel, the genius, Thomas Edison introduces himself as the leader of the American army. Also, he has a lion head and looks straight out of a DC comic. I'm pretty sure there's some form of joke to make there. There is a problem though. Edison doesn't care about correcting human history. He says that he just wants the Grail to create a new America that will survive and flourish away from Solomon's reach. Basically, he spoiled the concept of a lost belt. So, when we say that we want to retrieve the Grail and solve the Singularity, he sends his goons after us. Despite defeating them, we get lured into being captured and imprisoned, just to get saved by that guy a few moments later. We are intercepted by Karna. He's a Lancer. Eventually we arrive at that guy's hideout, meeting up with Rama, whose heart is literally 3/4 destroyed by Ku's gay bulk, barely alive at all through sheer willpower. What a Chad. We get attacked by wyverns, then we are told that our next objective is to get Rama to his wife Sitha in order for Nightingale to get him healed. I'm not sure how that works, but why not? Segue, and we regroup with Robin Hood and Billy the Kid. There's a shitload of filler battles where we fight our first ever Soul Eater. It was a surprisingly tough fight because I wasn't expecting to see a Soul Eater this early, but oh well, we cleared it within 15 turns. Fergus shows up and is told by Ku and Maeve to come after us. I guess we'll be seeing him later then. Amidst all the following filler, we also meet Elizabeth once more. It's just the same joke, idle dragon girl who can't sing. It's honestly getting a bit boring. Next node and Nil! I thought I'd never see you again. Welcome back. Step aside, Nightingale, the Emperor is here. Fergus hits us with the Pride Parade beam, but Oda is anti-woke, so she doesn't celebrate. Anyways, we make a plan. Splitting up into two teams, that guy, Robin Hood, Billy the Kid, and Nero would go to try and assassinate Maeve and Ku, while we go with Liz, Rama, and Nightingale to find Sitha. Tons of filler battles later, we arrive at Alcatraz, where Sitha is being held. Guarding her is Beowulf and his pit dragon scare me a little bit, but then I realize that they're actually a bit of a pushover. We find Sitha and she immediately elaborates to give Rama her servant's container so that he is healed from the curse. After that, we are shown what happened to the second team and Cuchulainn, you have incurred my wrath. I'll make you suffer, you sack of shit. We get a rematch with these two instead, and once again I'll point to their class and move on. Holy shit, dude, how much filler does the Singularity need? And, oh, did you know that Scáthach was in the Singularity? Yeah, I forgot that too. Really cool. They also explained how she became a heroic spirit here, something which puzzled me for ages. You know, since she's supposed to be forever alive and stuff. Teacher tests us in some filler battles, then Li Shiwen shows up for the sole purpose to get his ass handed to him. And now, for the moment you all have been asking for non-stop, picking the free 5-star. After a long while of contemplation, after calculating every possibility and hosting a poll, the one and possibly the only 5-star this account would have for a very long time is Tamamo no Mai. The reasoning behind that being that she's a great support who will help us stall and buff our future DPSs to deal with some very necessary damage. Sadly though, she's pretty much useless right away. We'll have to wait until we can get her to level 70 to unlock her third skill in order for her to be any good. But at least now we can start farming her bond in preparation for the final Singularity. Back in America, we fight our first ever Bicorn, and despite not being prepared, it still wasn't enough of a threat to warrant a reset or anything.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
It's worth mentioning that we are currently rushing back to Edison's army HQ to hopefully talk some sense into him after half our teammates got disconnected by Maeve and Ku. So a rematch with Karna was inevitable. Again, Lancer. So it was around this time that I paused my recording to go get some food. You know, I was with my family having the best dinner in a while. So when I got back to my PC and continued playing, I kinda forgot to resume recording. So allow me to give you a brief overview of what happened in the lost footage. We enter the throne room, but beat the shit out of a trio boss fight composed of Helena, Edison, and Karna, then engage in some simulated battles while we think up some strategies, with Edison agreeing to join us. In the end, the strategy that did stick was to attack on two fronts directly into the White House. Because Celts don't defend, they attack. We also have a boss fight against Scáthach as a final test before she leaves us to keep Ku in check just in case. Filler, and Karna and Arjuna finally meet. Their fight begins while we deal with a bunch of wyverns and our third Dargon in this Singularity. Problem is, Ku shows up and stabs Karna in the back, disrupting their duel. So if you're wondering what happened to Scáthach keeping an eye on him, well, she lost. We get our first ever fight against this guy and honestly, what a joke. You call this a boss fight? Come on, try harder. Lore-wise, Ku actually uses Gay Bolg on Mush and she almost fucking dies before... yeah, I forgot this happened too. You can say whatever you want about the Dick Mage, but honestly, if he didn't do anything here, the Grand Order would have literally ended right there and then. What a Chad. While Ku is distracted, Karna hits him with a weakened Vasavi Shakti, forcing him to at least retreat before he disappears. There's an Arjuna boss fight following, and I wasn't ready, so I got destroyed. First reset of the Singularity. Not that he's difficult, mind you, it's just that my servant setup wasn't ideal for a boss fight. He goes down on a second try. We fight some shadow servants and of course a fourth dragon, before facing off against our first ever Spriggan. These guys are total RNG. If you get lucky, they deal no damage, but if they crit, just say goodbye. At least it's only one Spriggan, so it's not so bad. Hitting the final gauntlet, we have a fight against Ku and Maeve at the same time. It's a complete joke. The only casualty was Nightingale. Except of course, because Maeve is a sore loser, she summons not 1, not 2, not 4, but 28 Demon God Pillars. I was worried I'd have to fight them myself, but it seems Edison and the gang got them busy while we have to deal with Ku instead. First fight, whack. No casualties at all. Second fight, whack. Only Nightingale goes down. Grand battle, whack. No casualties again. It seems I have severely overestimated this sack of shit. On the outside, Nikola Tesla makes another appearance, teaming up with Edison to trap the Demon God Pillars, while Arjuna Pashpatas them out of existence. With the Demon God Pillars defeated and Ku absolutely embarrassed, the game of course has to throw us one more curveball as he transforms into a Demon God Pillar himself, Halfas. And honestly, this fight got me shaking in my boots. He knocked down everyone, leaving me with just my little idol. Big mistake honestly. You should never underestimate the power of a Saba. With Halfas defeated, we claim the Grail, we bid farewell to Nightingale, we see that Scáthach actually survived and plans to have a 1v1 against Li Shiwen, then we go back to Chaldea where... Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more of this, make sure to subscribe and press the like button, and comment down below your suggestions. With that being said, this was the IMGWatcher, and I'll see you around.